I'd like to welcome everybody to the Suffolk IDA Audit Finance Committee meeting for October 24th. On the agenda, the first item is the proposed budget for 2025. Kelly, you could
Great.
go over some items for us?
Yeah, so we just talked about the current budget for 2024. The staff expectation is that we will meet that budget this year. We do have some projects in the pipeline that will be closing in 25. So we have increased our goal for agency income in 25. Trying to see if there's significant changes. Happy to answer any questions as always. Just looking to see, one of the questions that was brought up was regarding outside services. Not been expending the same amount in that area. So we did drop the budget a bit. In the past, we've been working with RPA on planning studies, and we still plan to do some studies, but not at this same level that we have been in the past. Salaries are projected to be higher as we do hope and anticipate adding to staff. We've been short-staffed by one person for well over a year, so we're hopeful at some point that we'll be, so we added that salary, just so that we're prepared for that. Any questions?
With the actuals as compared to budget for the agency fee income, I know when we spoke the other day, closings are a moving target. Things we approve, I think I always assume close, but obviously that's not the case. Where do you think, come 12/31, that agency fee income, do you think it meets budget? Is that what you were referring to before?
I do think it does.
Okay.
We had a closing yesterday that's not recorded here.
Okay.
That was well over 200,000. And they're always subject to change. I do have one other scheduled, whether it actually does close or not, we'll see, but I know that it will close. So even if it closes next year, again, then, it's always very cyclical for us. The one thing that we certainly have seen is that closings are much slower than they ever were. Things just are still happening. But they're happening at a much slower pace.
So we expect maybe one more to close before the end of the year. And between the one that closed and that one, we get close to budget?
We sure do.
Okay. And Lori, kind of same question. What's the balance sheet, the idea look like? Because there's no cash position on this page, just the budget.
Sure. Our cash position, we have money set aside in reserves for post-retirement, about $1.2 million. And then we have money set aside we put all of our closing money, which is a great concept. I don't know whoever developed it. All the money goes straight into our investment account, which yields a higher interest than our regular operating money. And then we transfer when we need money for operations. That accounts at about 2.6.
Yeah, because the interest income was pretty good.
It really is.
Now, we should expect that to probably, why do you think that's gonna go up next year? Because we're gonna have more cash?
Yeah.
Because interest rates certainly aren't going in that direction.
Right. No, the interest rates have gone down
Yes.
0.5%, but also this is the first year, I think if you look in the prior years, we're gonna hit over, we believe, the 1 million mark in closing.
Yeah, which we have not done in the.
And this only shows 1 year, but if you look further back, this is the first year.
We're not going into reserves at all this year, is the goal.
So the outside services number is dropping substantially.
Yes,
Outside services is our ad.
it's our marketing firm. Generally, it's 90,000 of that is to the marketing firm. There was an additional 100,000 that was dedicated to the RPA studies over the last years. We still plan to, again, do some of those studies, but probably going to take a little bit of a different direction. We're going to be working with Des Moines to do kind of an economic impact analysis of all of the projects, and the multiplier effect. Something Nassau IBA does, something some of the other IBAs do, And I think it would be really, how long is it? Productive to see, what that multiplier looks like. It's always something the board's been very interested in, so we will still be doing some of those.
And then if you just walk me through the post-retirement health benefit line item. Because we had an audited number of 23 or 236,000.
Yeah, Lori, I'll let you do
We had
that.
nothing in our budget for 24, and now we have 107 in our budget for 25.
Right. So post-retirement, 2 years ago was very favorable because I had a big impact by the market. Our post-retirement is based on our demographics. Now we have another retiree in there, so it's gone up again, last year. When Tony added to that pool, so, it's a small population, it's actuarially determined year to year, and we have a small demographic, but it fluctuates significantly based on healthcare costs and interest rates. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah,
I want-
I got it.
It's one of those moving
I know
parts.
it is a complicated.
Yeah.
So Kelly, actually, we talked about that number and you brought up the concept that last year it really hit us, but the year before it was actually negative. It was favorable. We made money in
Right.
22 because that money went, our actuarial valuation came down.
So we thought to just put some number in there
Oh,
to try and,
But you also said you accrued for this, right? So we have cash accrued.
we have
Or
set
expect.
aside, we take that actuarial valuation and we set aside the full nut of what we expect that to be. Should today be our last day, we have that kind of accrued that every year we put money in that.
in a separate bank account. All our accounts are separate.
Any other questions? So I'll entertain a motion to present the budget to the full board as it's presented to us, take it out of committee. So, any questions? Do I have a motion? Motion by Chris, second by Sarah. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? And that will be presented to the full board.
Great.
The second on the list is the authorization of signing letters of commitment for Sheehan and PKF. Back over to Kelly.
So Lori, do you have the amounts for the IDA as well? I didn't see those.
Yeah, they're actually keeping the fee 500, they increased it by $500, so 25.
Okay. And as far as PKF, let's see, for the IDA, I think, we want to set aside $3,000 for the W-2s and the 1099s. That Lori will be delegating to him to perform. She's taken over, once again, many of the things that PKF used to do for the agency in the past, but Lori's now doing in-house.
So in order to track that a little bit more accurately, should we put that in as a separate line item on the budget for in-house accounting services?
Oh, not a bad idea.
I'm just presenting it to the board. Can we do that? Is that-
We could do a sub of the accounting line. Can't we?
Right, so right now it's going in, salaries, so, yeah.
So let's set up a sub under the accounting line for it, so that we can track
Are you
it.
happy with that?
Yeah,
This way, obviously,
Great
there's more transparency. We
Yeah.
see exactly what we're doing in-house. We can know what's going out,
absolutely.
services, so, okay, so, with that caveat for next year, we'll put that in the minutes, but for right now, we'll approve the budget as is that acceptable?
Yes.
Okay, so that being said, I'll entertain the budget's been approved, I'll entertain a motion to accept the signing letters and the understanding regarding PKF, that will be included next year in a separate line item in the budget. Do I have a motion? Motion. The second? Second by Chris, motion by Brian. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? None. See that it carries. And we have item 3, others or anything else?
Nothing today.
That's it? Okay, so before closing, we'll make a motion to the full board to accept the proposed budget as it came out of committee and the authorization of signing letters. So, I'll entertain a motion closed. By Sarah, second. Second by Chris, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? None. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.